All right, welcome everybody. Welcome to part two of our Getting Started webinar. My name is Brittany. I'm the Ambassador Program Manager with Practice Better, and we have Shelley here as well. Shelley is the Business Success Coach. Today we are doing part two of our Getting Started webinar, and we're going to walk you through a couple of steps to getting started, including creating and customizing an intake form. So getting familiar with that form builder, which is a really amazing feature, how to create a note template. So it's going to help really drive efficiency with your charting or your note taking during sessions before, after, or during. We're going to also walk you through automations. So automations are really a time saver in the platform, and we're going to actually walk you through two of those today. So getting you started with that feature and a little bit more familiar with it. And then we're also going to see how this all comes together. So we're going to take a look at the client recent activity stream. So really starting to paint the picture of how all of these things being in one place is going to make your life so much easier. So before we get too far, I just have a few housekeeping items to chat through with you guys. So we love your engagement. We love hearing from you in the chat. So please, as we go along, let us know any questions that you have, or what you're loving, or what you're where you're at with your practice in the platform. We love hearing from you. So use that chat, and we'll be pausing throughout the webinar today to answer as many questions as we can. So, the more that you engage, the more that you're going to get out of this webinar. And again, I have mentioned, but we are recording. So this will be posted on our YouTube channel alongside part one. So if you can't stay the full duration, or you want to come back and reference this information, where you can pause it and kind of go along with the video, that's no problem at all. You'll find that on our YouTube channel, and we will share a link for that at the end of today's session. So as you can see, Shelley's got her screen up. We'll turn our cameras off so that you can actually focus on the demo today. And let us know in the chat. We want to know kind of where you're at. If you did attend our first session, did you implement any of the steps that we talked about, or are you brand new? Let us know kind of where you're at in the chat, and we'll kick things off. All right, so the first things first for this part two is we're going to talk through the form builder. So specifically, we're looking at intake forms. So within Practice Better, you have the ability to create custom forms right within the platform, and you can start from scratch or use a template. So if you are brand new, like I'm seeing some of the people in our chat here, this could be a really nice way to get started, is using one of those customizable templates. And the benefit to this feature is that clients can fill this out and submit forms electronically from the convenience of either their client portal or email inbox. So that could be on their phone or their desktop. So really anywhere that they're at, they can kind of fill that out on their phone or their desktop. And this is going to save you so much time as a practitioner and make it far more streamlined for the client. So no more back and forth, sending an email with the attachment and it getting buried, and then having to download that attachment and have the right computer Adobe program to fill it out, or having to print it off. It can be a real headache with forms. So even fillable forms, it can be challenging. So we're looking to kind of make this a lot more streamlined for the client and the practitioner. And one thing that I want to add is that by running your forms through Practice Better, you have all of these other features in the platform that you'll likely use in time that are going to kind of speak to each other. So, once you have completed forms, you can look at reports, you can take the information from the form and map it into the client record, pull that information into different notes and note templates. So a really kind of robust, comprehensive feature with the forms where everything's going to speak to each other. So today we're going to be looking at creating your first intake form, which is an important step in getting set up to ensure that you can collect the information that you need from your client, that health information and the desired outcomes that they're looking for. And that's really going to set you up for success prior to that first session. So Shelley's going to walk us through how simple it is to set this up.
Awesome. Thanks, Brittany. Yeah, forms, it's actually one of my favorite features in Practice Better. I don't know why, I love building forms. It's actually kind of fun. But yeah, so let's go over to forms. So to navigate there, we're going to click on My Practice, and then we're going to come down here to Forms and Waivers. So all of the forms that you have created, if you've already created some, will appear in the list here. But if you're new and you want to create your first form or additional forms, you're going to come over here to the fast action icon. So if we click on that, so you'll see that you can either choose to create a form from scratch. You can create a waiver where you can add, signature for your clients, upload form or a worksheet, or you can create an online form from a template. So let's select the create from a template. And so these are some of the pre-built templates that are offered to you that you can take a look at. You can edit any of these. So for today, we're going to select one that was built by Practice Better, and it's the intake questionnaire. So you're going to just click on that form. And then you're going to receive a prompt notifying you that the form is going to use what are called placeholders, which will automatically pull in information from the client's record. So these placeholders are optional and can be removed. So I'm just going to click on Got It. Okay, so the create form window is going to open and it's going to pre-populate with that form template that we selected. So you'll see that we have different sections in here, such as basic information, where clients can enter information such as their date of birth, address, and family history. So you can delete or edit any of these sections that you wish to change or remove by selecting this little. So if you scroll down here, you'll see that any of these questions will have this little pencil icon. So if you click on that, you can come in here and edit like what information that you want to collect. You can edit the title. So this way, you can take a form that's already been built and really personalize it for the needs of your practice. So we're going to, just to show you, like if you didn't want this, actually, let's keep this. So we see here, we have a section called family history. So this is just like a section question, and then you have the different fields under it. So clients can enter their maternal information. So if we want to delete the section, like if you don't want to capture that, you could just click on the trash icon here and just take out that whole section. So over here, if you're familiar with, other form builders, perhaps you've noticed that they have different question types. So like yes, no questions, check boxes, multiple choice, grids, tables, which are one of my favorites. So there's a lot that you can do with forms, and I would definitely recommend reviewing one of our help articles called Creating Forms and Waivers, and just kind of playing around. Even if you download one of the templates and just kind of play around with it just to get familiar. I mean, you can come over here and pull in the different, question type if you want to just see what each of them looks like. You can always play around with a form and then you can just delete it if you're not going to use it, just to become familiar with how these work. So there are many ways that forms can be sent to clients. So actually, I'm going to save and exit. So once you get the form ready to go, you can either hit save if you're still working on it, or save and exit. So there's many ways that forms can be sent to clients. This includes your public booking page, like a page form. So when somebody's booking an appointment with you, the form is attached and you'll get the information you need during the booking process. You can also set up automations, which allows the clients to go ahead and book with you, but then after that, they'll automatically get whatever forms that you've attached in that automation to the service or package that they're booking for you. You can also opt to complete forms on behalf of your client. So let's say you had a client sitting with you in person in the office, if you offer that, and you just wanted to go ahead and fill that out for the client. So you can see here, I have that intake questionnaire that I downloaded. over here, you'll see 3 dots. If you click on those, you'll have other options here. So you could click on complete for the client. So you're actually typing in the responses and it'll save it both for you and for the client. You can also come over here if you want to preview what the form is going to look like to your client as an online form. So again, they're actually typing in these boxes and they're clicking on these check boxes. So there's nothing to download, print out, attach and send back. It just makes it super easy for both you and your clients. So really the simplest way to send a form to a client is really just to select send to client. So when you select this, you can click on your client. So we'll click that. And then you can find, so if we want to send this to Mary Smith, and then you come down here and you can send one or multiple. So I could just send the intake form, or maybe I want to send my 3-day food journal and my HIPAA notice. And then down here, you can also type in additional notes that'll come in the email that will instruct them, any other instructions about how to complete the forms, or, what time frame you need those forms back. So once you get that set up, you can just click send, and it's going to send it to the client, and they're going to have an alert that they have a new form to complete. So that's kind of the basics. There's really some cool things that you can do with forms. So I definitely would recommend reviewing that help article, but I would just dive in there and start practicing and building a few sample forms. You can always come over here and delete that out of your list if it was just a practice form. So we're going to send it back to Brittany just to talk about our note template.
Yeah, definitely. I also love the form builder. I just want to say before we move on that it's also one of my favorite features because I love the endless possibilities with it. I just think it's like so amazing that you can not only, think about things like your intake forms, but in time, think about things like feedback surveys, or I've even used it for like a workbook for my clients. I've polled my community when I'm coming up with a new offering to see kind of what resonates with them. So it's just so many possibilities as you get familiar and comfortable using that form builder. So I am going to just plop in the chat a couple of help articles. So if you are wanting more information about form templates or creating forms, those are there for your reference. But let's move on to note templates. So as you work with your client, it's likely that you'll want to compile notes to stay informed and act as a record so that you can really start to notice trends during your time working together. Just kind of keep a log of different progress. So while this process is in most cases necessary when working with clients, it can also be really cumbersome and time consuming. So notes can be a good benchmark indicator of progress, and it can be important that you have consistency across the type of information that you're charting on and format it in a way that's going to be easy to complete in the moment and refer back to later on. So this is going to ensure that the process is as streamlined and efficient as possible. So with this, we're going to look at note templates. So note templates allow you to set up kind of a one and done template or framework for your session notes that can be used over and over again with multiple clients. And this is going to kind of mitigate that need to copy and paste from previous notes or reinvent the wheel each time. And I really love coming up with a note template because not only is it giving you that consistency in that format, but it's also for me kind of a driver of how I conduct those sessions. So making sure that I ask the right questions, that I stay on topic, that I don't forget any important pieces of information, which actually really helps kind of keep appointments timely so that everything is conducted in the time allotment that it should be. So you can create multiple note templates for different types of sessions or niche areas. And today we're going to be looking at setting up a common first note template, something that you'd use for, say, like your initial consultation session.
Yeah, great. So as Brittany discussed all the great ways you can use note templates, let's go create one together. So I'm going to show you how to do that. So you're going to, again, go to My Practice, and you're going to come down here to Note Templates. And when you're in here, you're going to click again on the Fast Action button, and you have the option of creating from a blank template, you can build it from scratch, or you can create from a template that's already built. So we're going to, for this example, we're going to click on the initial consultation session notes, and it's going to open that template here. So on the right-hand side, similar to forms, you're going to see some options. So you don't have as many options as in the forms, but these different sections, you can add these below. So if you wanted to do some yes, no, check boxes, table, scale, you could easily add those to note template. And in these sections, you're going to notice this percentage sign. These are called placeholders, and their purpose is to draw information from the client's basic information section right into the note. So again, what we're looking at right now is a template. What happens when you take this template and you create it for a client getting ready for a session, it's going to have their name up at the top. It's going to pull in this, and you'll see this in just a little bit, but any of these placeholders, and this is where you can find the placeholders. So essentially, these are all of the different fields in what we call the client file. So if information exists in those fields in the client file and you have a placeholder here, it'll pull it into the actual note that you're using for that session. And we also have a great article on placeholders. So you can just go to the Help Center and type in placeholders, and there's a very helpful article there. You'll also see in other areas of the platform, like in forms, protocols, anywhere that you want to kind of personalize that information, you'll see this drop down for placeholders. So they're not just unique to note templates. Okay, so you'll see that you have all these different sections here. And again, you're really going to customize this. So even though we downloaded a template, you can add any additional questions to this to save it as a template if it's if you have like a really unique niche or you have other questions or things that you want to go over. So once you're done customizing the template, we're going to come over here and say save and exit. So as Brittany outlined, note templates are meant to be reused with different clients for common encounters. So let's navigate to our client and create a note for them. So we're going to come up here and go to my clients. I'm going to pick Mary Smith. So now you can see here, we're in Mary Smith's record. So her name's over here. So anything over here on the left side, this is going to be related to Mary Smith. So what we're going to do is we're going to go down here to the notes section. And again, you're going to see the red fast action button. So we're going to click that. And because I'm on the team plan, you see two different providers here. So I'm going to select myself. This is my fake practitioner name, Wendy Smith. Okay, so now when I click that, it's going to pull up the different templates that I have in my template list. So because we just created this initial consultation session notes, I'm going to click on that. So now you'll see that this template that I had created is now ready to go for me to take notes for Mary Smith. So you'll see that the date, the current date. Now, if you finish the notes, say the next day or whenever, you can actually change the date that they were prepared. So there's an option here that can be enabled to right here. So share notes and attach documents with my client. So a lot of people ask, you know, when I finish my notes, how do I get them to the client? Do I have to email them? How do I share them? And it is just so super easy. So if you want to share anything, including the information below, but in addition, if you attach any documents, like if you had a session, you were talking about, you know, say gluten-free diet or certain recipes, you could attach handouts that would be attached to this note, protocols, labs, tasks. So you do need to check this button if you want to share any of the information. But what's nice in this template is I kind of and see how Mary Smith's name, date of birth, current, conditions, like all of this was pulled in from Mary's file. But the nice thing about having these sections kind of broken apart is you may not want to share all, your assessment and all of this information. Perhaps you are just looking to share the plan with the client. So because we broke them up into different sections, I can come over here to this little eyeball and I can click on that. So when I do save this note, when I'm ready to share it, the only thing that's going to be shared is the plan. So I can come up here, I'm going to click on save. So now you can either, you can save and exit, which means that you would be able to come back to continue adding to these notes, like if you're not finished, or depending on your practice, scope of practice, some people need to actually sign and save. So that's going to just lock it in. You won't come back and make any modifications. So let's just go ahead and sign and save. Okay, and now I'm going to continue. Now it's telling me that that plan is going to be shared with Mary Smith. So do I want to send a notification or not send a notification to Mary? In this case, I want her to get a notification so that she can go ahead and check out the plan that we discussed during our session. So that's how the note templates work. So I'm going to hand it back to Brittany to talk about automations, which is another one of my favorite features.
Awesome. Thanks, Shelley. Again, in the chat here, I'm just putting down some more help articles. So if people are wanting to explore a little bit more information about note templates and how to get started using them, there's a few help articles to walk you through that. So continue on. Our help articles are great because they really walk you through things step by step. All right, let's talk about automations. So we're going to today look at how to set up your first 2 automations. And if you're unfamiliar with this feature, this is something that is essentially like a set it and forget it feature that's going to help you streamline your workflow and save a ton of time with some of the more administrative tasks within your business. So automations basically trigger certain activities to happen within the platform automatically. So they alleviate the kind of manual work on your end. And let's get started by setting up really 2 just very simple ones. First being confirming one-on-one booking requests. So this automation will ensure that any new booking requests that come in will automatically be confirmed. So no longer are you going to have to take that manual step of confirming yourself. So let's say that you want to auto-confirm booking requests for something like an initial consultation setting or initial consultation sessions. You can do that. And then Shelley's also going to walk us through how to send a form after a booking is confirmed. So something along the lines of automatically sending your clients the intake questionnaire after that intake consultation session is confirmed. So again, we're eliminating that need to actually manually send the client the form. So all that is going to take place without you having to kind of put that on your to-do list and thinking about all these little things that you have to do. So Shelley's going to walk us through that.
Yeah, great. Okay, so to get to your automations, again, we're going to go up to My Practice, and you're going to come down here and click on Automations. So if you currently don't have any automations set up, you can just click on Create Automation. But once you have some set up, you'll see your list. You can always come over here to the button, and it'll pull up the different automations. So I'm going to select the confirm one-on-one booking request right here. So I would recommend giving your automations very specific names so that you can easily track, because you're going to start adding more and more. And so when you come to your list, the more specific you can be, the better, so that you don't have to like click into each of those to see exactly what that automation is for. So this one is going to be, we're going to call this confirm initial consultations. So over here, so it says which services should trigger this automation. So I'm going to click here and I'm going to click on confirm initial consultation. So sometimes you'll see that that services are checked, but you want to make sure to uncheck the ones that you don't want included in that automation and just check the one that you want. Okay, so we have that. So then to get out of the screen, you just kind of click over to the side. Okay, so you'll notice a few other options. The first being if you want to auto confirm rescheduled sessions. So this means that if a client reschedules a session with you in their client portal, the automation will also confirm that automatically as well. So if, as a practitioner, you prefer to review the rescheduling manually, you can either confirm it or decline it and send a note back to them as to why you're declining that request. You would want to disable this option. However, I am going to leave it checked here for our purposes. So we'll check off to give new clients access to the portal. So this is an option that will invite your clients to the Practice Better platform. So if no automation, if we didn't set up this automation, the client will be added to Practice Better as a prospective client. So if the automation exists, which we're going to be doing right now, and this is unchecked, then the client record would be created in Practice Better automatically, but they would not be invited to the portal. But you could always do that manually. But however, in this case, I want the client to be invited to set up an account in Practice Better in their client portal. So I'm going to leave this checked here. So this means that when a client books my initial consultation, they will immediately receive an invitation email asking them to activate their account in Practice Better. So they'll put in their email address and a password, and then they can go to their portal and log in anytime they want once they have access. So you'll notice the options to give access to the food and mood and the lifestyle journal here, both of which I am going to enable. So this means that when the client record is created, your clients will have access to both journals by default, and they can start logging their food intake, exercise, sleep, and other journal data. Sometimes you may not want them to have access right away. Perhaps you want them to just get on the portal, get their account set up, focus on, say, getting their forms completed. You can always, if you don't give them access through the automation, you can always give them access manually when either you're ready to start reviewing these journal entries or you feel like your client is comfortable with the platform and you can start kind of layering on new features for them. But just know that if you don't have them checked, you can give them access later. So lastly, there's an option to mark sessions confirmed on behalf of the clients, which means that your clients will not be asked to confirm their attendance in session confirmation and reminder notifications that are sent from Practice Better. So because I'm assuming that the client booking the session is their confirmation that they will be attending, I'm just going to, I'll leave this enabled. But if you feel like you, as another kind of reminder, you want your clients to actually confirm, then you can just uncheck that. Okay, so I'm now going to select create and the automation will be completed. I'm just going to confirm that. So now we have our first automation. So you can come in here and edit that automation. You can always click on the three dots and you can either delete it, or if you want to keep it but just not have it active, you can just disable it and then enable it later when you're ready to start using it again. Okay, so now we're going to configure another popular automation, which is to send forms automatically to clients once a session that they have booked has been confirmed. So this way you don't have to remember to send them all these forms. So again, I click on the red fast action button. I'm going to say send forms after booking is confirmed. So because we just configured the initial consultation to be confirmed automatically, I'm now going to set that form to be sent after a client has booked that service with me. So I'm going to call this send intake questionnaire after initial consult has been booked. Okay, and again, similar to the other automation that we set up, we're going to come over here and I'm just going to click the initial consultation. I'm going to uncheck this and just kind of look, because sometimes you'll see the scroll bar over here. So just make sure that you go down and, select all the services that you want. Okay, so now when should we send those forms? So this is really nice because you can either just have the forms sent immediately, which means they're going to be sent right when this is booked, or you can select on schedule forms and you can actually schedule forms before a session or after this consultation was booked. So if you have a form such as like a coaching session update form that you want to go out every time, a few days before each session, so your client can kind of update you on how they're doing and what they want to focus on during that session, you can actually have these scheduled before, say, a follow-up session. But for our case, because this is the initial consultation and generally intake forms can be a little bit more lengthy for that consultation, we want to have it just sent immediately so that the clients can have time to complete that before the session. So now, because the intake form is just a one-time form, it's not a form that the clients are going to complete multiple times. I'm just going to leave that unchecked. So I can come down here and just click on the intake questionnaire, and then you can send multiple forms, but for this automation, we're just going to send this one questionnaire. So then I'm going to click on create, and my form automation is done. So now I have 2 automations set up. So that is how easy it is to set up automations. I always recommend to people to come in every so often and just kind of go in and review your automations so that you can, ensure that if you've added any new services or packages, that those are kind of factored into your automations. But other than that, they're pretty simple to set up. So we're going to head back over to Brittany to talk about the client activity page.
Yeah, awesome. I love automations because the possibilities are virtually endless with what you can do. So many options for automations, and each one can be used in so many ways. But let's dive into the client recent activity page. And this is where we're going to highlight where everything kind of starts to come together. And we're going to do this by walking through the client's recent activity page. So as you introduce clients into your practice, Practice Better will start to keep a client record of all of their activity. So as a practitioner, this allows you to have all the important information in one place that's really easy to locate and paints a really comprehensive picture of who your client is, their journey, and everything that's relevant to them. So from the client activity page, you'll be able to see at a glance information, but also have quick, easy access to complete all necessary actions pertinent to them. This is going to provide you with a great timeline of all the important events in your client's health journey, including things like bookings, notes that you've completed for them, any tasks that you've set for them, all of their completed forms, and more. So you can imagine that if a client works with you for quite a long time, you're going to have a really kind of comprehensive, long-running record for them. And the biggest takeaway to kind of note here is that it's just really the convenience of having everything in one place and seeing a holistic picture of all of the work that is going on with your client in real time. As you get working with multiple clients in your Practice Better account, you'll even start to find patterns, how long it's taking people to achieve their health goals. And maybe that's going to inform things on the packages that you create and the type of coaching that you offer. So it's also going to give you some really great business insights too. So this is a running theme across the Practice Better platform that, everything is in one place. It's really going to simplify your workflow. So no more digging around trying to remember where things are located. You can simply navigate back to the client recent activity stream here and see everything that you need to. So Shelley's going to walk us through that now.
Yeah, so how you're going to get to the client activity stream, including, getting to their file, there's a couple ways. One of the ways you can come up here, and if this is the client that we're going to look at, I could click on Mary here. I could also go into view all, just to view all my clients and click on them here. You'll notice that This is another one of my favorite features, is literally just checking this little star is going to add them to my home page, so that clients that you're working with, very active clients that you want to have kind of pinned to this page, you can just click on that favorite, and then I can come over here and click on my client, and I'm taken right to the client file and to their recent activity. So you'll always see an activity a client has done in this recent activity stream. So you can actually filter the activity if you want to see what a client has done, such as if I click here and I want to see any custom notes, any bookings, anything related to these topics, I could click on that and it would just filter it. So that's really nice. Or I can just leave it all categories. You can also filter by date. So if I came over here and I just wanted to see what happened with Mary this month or this quarter, just to get an idea of how active Mary has been in the portal and how active she's been with scheduling appointments and things like that. So you can also use the widgets in the section to quickly view things. So these right here are called widgets. So we have the recent activity widget. I can open and close that. I have upcoming sessions, so I can quickly see, what Mary, again, this is specific to Mary. So this is a little different than like my practitioner dashboard. So what sessions does Mary have coming up? Do I have any booking requests from Mary that I need to review and either confirm or decline? So again, these are really nice. And if you ever want to just, you can open and close them. So I can also look at tasks. So I could say, oh, okay, these are all the upcoming tasks for Mary, and maybe something's past due. So I could maybe ping her in the secure message and just kind of, give her a little nudge or see what's going on. The other cool thing is you can come up here. So if there's notes about Mary that you want to pin to the top, so that when, say before you're getting ready to meet with Mary, you just want a reminder or you want some information pertinent to that session, you can come into here and add a note. We could say, Mary stopped in the office to pick up her supplements. So after I add that, I can just say add note. Now, if I don't pin this note here, it's just going to sort of be going down in the stream as more activity happens. But if it's something that you want to pin to the top, that's really important, you just click on that pin and it's just always going to stay up here. And then when you don't need to reference it anymore, you can just uncheck it here. So it's important to note that activity that you have done to the client's record will also be tracked here as well. So any activity like email. So here you'll see that I shared that note with Mary, and I can see here that there was an email notification. So it said that the email was delivered. Now, it doesn't mean that I know whether she read it or not, but it just shows that it was successfully delivered. So you might see if for some reason there was an issue with Mary's email account, you could see like bounced or failed. But that's good to know, because if you see that it bounced or failed, maybe, you could send Mary a message through the secure chat and she would get an alert in her Practice Better app, or text her, just another way to get that information over there. So then the other thing about the activity feed, if you want to quickly get to a certain activity, you don't have to come over here and try to find it. You can just look in the activity stream. So say I wanted to check out this invoice, I just wanted to review that, I can just click on it here in the activity stream, and it'll take me right to the invoice that was just sent to Mary yesterday. So that is how the activity stream works, and I hope you enjoyed that little overview. I'm going to send it back to Brittany.
Yeah, thanks for sharing that with us. I am going to pop a little help article that walks you through that in a little bit more detail if that is information that you want to continue to review. So we are kind of getting towards the end of our 45-minute session here. So as we come to a close here, Shelley and I will just turn our cameras back on so that we can say goodbye to you. Shelley, you might have to make you host. There we go. We're always juggling that around. All right, so we hope that this was really helpful for you guys in sharing how you can easily get started on Practice Better. So today was all about kind of part 2, setting up your first form and note template, your first 2 automations to save time, and a client recent activity stream. If we were unable to answer your question today, we do have a designated customer success team that is more than happy to support you. I also want to share with you a few resources that are going to help you continue to be really successful on the platform. So first and foremost, if you do want to reference the Getting Started sessions, again, they will be up on YouTube. So I will put the link for our YouTube channel in the chat so that you can check that out, because that has not only the Getting Started webinars, but also just a ton of resources and videos that are really fantastic for you. Definitely the quickest way for you to learn about things within the platform, so how to navigate certain features, step-by-step instructions on how to use them, is our help center. So I will also put this link in the chat here. Any kind of key term that you want to learn about within the platform, pop that in the search bar of the help center, and you should find plenty of articles that walk you through that. So if you're looking to understand how you can start using tasks, for example, with yourself and your client, simply type in tasks and you'll see a whole collection of help articles walking you through that. We also have a Facebook group exclusive to our paid plan members. So I will put the link for this here. So lots of links going in the chat right now. So this is the Practice Better Inner Circle. It's a great place to connect to other practitioners who are also on the platform, and also looking to share ideas and workflows and kind of crowdsource information there as well. All right, so I hope again that was really helpful. Our customer success, I do see one last question here. It is an email only service, so please feel free to email them with any troubleshooting needs. And we also have a feedback survey. So if you don't mind taking the minute to fill this out, this really helps inform us on how we can best serve you and get you started on the platform, feeling successful and confident using it. So I will pop that little link in the chat as well. That's just going to take a minute of your time. All right, everybody. I hope you all have a really good rest of your day. It's almost the weekend. We've got just couple more days, and then we're there. But thank you so much for joining us, and we hope to connect with you again soon. Check out some of those YouTube videos. It'll give you lots more to kind of ponder and work on in the platform.
Thank you, everybody. We appreciate your time. Have a great day.
Bye, Shelley. Bye, everyone.
Bye.